Warriors NRL Fanatics, welcome back to the channel, and I'm going to get into my NRL tips for round 4. On Thursday, the 31st of March, sees the Gold Coast Titans versus the West Tigers at Cbus Super Stadium on the Gold Coast. Massive in for the Titans in the fullback position, and making his debut is former Bronco Jermaine Asako in the fullback spot, and he replaces Jaden Campbell, who has a rib injury. Corey Thompson also returns from hand injury in place of Philip Sami on the wing, who has got COVID. For the West Tigers, centre James Roberts returns from a quad injury, and Ken Mamalo from ankle injury. And also back rower Klima Talungai, also back from a head knock. While Alex Sarford drops to the bench, and Stafford Toa and Jake Simpkins drop out. Zane Musgrove switches to starting prop for Stefano Utukamanu, who is set to miss 4 to 6 weeks due to an ankle injury. Now, in this game, I am going to tip the Titans. Now, I know the Titans last week had a big lead, a 22-0 lead over the Raiders, and really they should have won that game. So they'll be disappointed, they'll be frustrated of how they lost that game. And look, they're back at home, and I think they will have far too many points for the West Tigers in this one. And I'm going to go with the Titans for 20 plus points. Now, anytime try scorers, I'm going to go with Corey Thompson, Greg Marju, and Brian Kelly, and also Tino Fasumalawi to score. On Friday, the 1st of April, and it sees the Cronulla Sharks versus the Newcastle Knights at PointsBet Stadium in Sydney. For the Sharks, there's been a bit of a shuffle in their lineup. Sophia Talakai moves from the second row to centre to replace Connor Tracy, who's got a groin injury. And Tague Wilden returns from suspension to be in the second row. And Aidan Tolman will come from the bench in his 300th NRL game. For the Newcastle Knights, Kalen Ponga returns from injury at fullback, and Brodie Jones is the replacement for Mitchell Barnett, who will miss 6 weeks after fronting the judiciary last night. And Suaso Su has been named on the bench. Now, I'm going to pick the Sharks here to win by 4 points, and anytime try scorers, I'm going to go with Sione Katoa, Jesse Ramian, and Ronaldo Mulatalo. The next game, and this is going to be a cracking match, it is the grand final rematch. It is Penrith Panthers versus South Sydney Rabbitohs at PointsBet Stadium in Penrith. The Penrith Panthers welcome back Nathan Cleary from a shoulder injury, his first game since that 2021 NRL Grand Final. Scott Sorensen is also in the starting 17, replacing Chris Smith, who failed his HIA, and Lindsay Smith is on the bench. Now, I'm going to tip Penrith Panthers here to win by 12 points. Anytime try scorers, I'm going to go with Dylan Edwards, Isaac Tago, Talon May, and Alex Johnston for the Rabbitohs. Saturday the 2nd of April, and this is the second game on Saturday afternoon. I do have a separate preview video with Always Brisbane Broncos, so go check that out on the channel if you want to see our perspective on the Warriors Broncos game. Now, Manly Seagulls versus the Canberra Raiders is at Glen Willow Oval in Mudgee. The Raiders last week, massive comeback over the Titans after being down 22 points to 0 down in Canberra. Manly Seagulls picking up a very ugly victory over the Bulldogs, but a win's a win at the end of the day. Now, I'm going to tip Manly here to win by 10 points. And anytime try scorers, I'm going to go with Ruben Garrick, Jason Saab, and Tommy Trbojevic. I know he hasn't scored yet in the first couple of games, but I think he'll finally cross the line. Last game wraps up Super Saturday, and it's the North Queensland Cowboys versus the Sydney Roosters, and this is at Queensland Country Bank Stadium in Townsville. For the Roosters, they will have a change here in terms of a player off the bench, and that is Daniel Saluka Fafita. He comes in for Fletcher Baker, and also missing for this game, head coach Trent Robertson, who's unfortunately picked up COVID-19, so he will not be coaching this weekend. And Cowboys, well, they're 1-17 unchanged. So, call me crazy, call me ridiculous, call me stupid, but I'm going to pick a upset. You know what? I thought, why not? I know the Cowboys, look, you know, they're coming against some much quality opposition, the Roosters, and we know the Roosters always bounce back after losses. But in saying that, look, Cowboys, defensively, been very strong the first couple of games. Roosters have been a little bit up and down with their performances. And, you know, I think the Cowboys can do it. I really do. I think they can get the job done here. Now, I'm going to go with the Cowboys win by 2 points. Just 2 points. In a very tight game. Now, anytime try scorers, I'm going to go with Hamiso, Tebai Fidel, Kyle Felt. And for the Roosters, I'm going to go with Joseph, Manu, and Daniel Tupou. On Sunday, the 3rd of April, it sees the Melbourne Storm versus the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. And this is at Amy Park in Melbourne. Melbourne Storm do welcome back a few players. Xavier Coates returns from a hamstring injury, while hooker Harry Grant is also back after getting COVID. And Brandon Smith reverts to the bench. And Nick Meaney and Chris Lewis drop to the reserves. For the Bulldogs, they have lost Jack Hetherington due to a shoulder injury, and Corey Waddell comes into the run-on side in the back row, while Luke Thompson is at prop, and Afasai Sime Fangai returns on the interchange bench, and Max King also is on the bench as well. Now, I'm going to tip the Melbourne Storm here, but I will say that the Storm have been taken to the wire in most of their games so far this season. They've had 2 games go the distance. You know, look, I think Melbourne Storm, you know, they are due for a very big performance here. Bulldogs been very competitive in all the games so far this season. You know, I'm expecting a lot of improvement from the Bulldogs this season, and they've showed it so far, despite getting a couple of losses there. But in saying that, Melbourne should get this victory at home. Now, I'm going to tip them by 14 points, but, you know, maybe that's a big scoreline, but, you know, I think they will want a complete performance. So, I'm going to go to the Storm here to win. Now, anytime try scorers, I'm going to go with Ryan Pappenhausen, Dean Eremaya, and Justin Olam. Now, the last game to wrap up round 4 is the Parramatta Eels versus the George Illawarra Dragons, and it's at CommBank Stadium in Western Sydney. For the Eels, Ryan Madison is back from a hamstring injury and is on the bench alongside Bryce Cartwright to replace Romuru Gregg and the injured Ray Stone, who's got an ACL, who will be missing this season, unfortunately. For the Dragons, Matt Feagai replaces the injured Cody Ramsey on the bench, and Jack Gawinski starts in the back row for the suspended Jaden Sewer, and Aaron Woods is on the bench. Now, in this game, I'm going to go with the Parramatta Eels to win by 8 points. Anytime try scorers, I'm going to go with Will Palestini, Wanga Blake, and Dylan Brown to cross over. So, yeah, look, that wraps up my NRL tips for round 4. Let me know who you're picking down in the comment section. I want to hear who you guys are picking for the games this week. And also, if you are watching these videos and you haven't already done so, make sure you do hit that subscribe button down below, as the channel is very close to the 1K subscriber mark. And it'll help the channel massively, and I'd appreciate it if you subscribe. Click the thumbs up on the video as well. Click the like button. Click the bell so you don't miss a notification when I go live on the channel next or when I upload a new video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.